Hi there, my favorite pupils. It's time for another lesson on our vocabulary workshop. I'm your teacher, Ms. Shamshadeen, and today we will be learning about silent letters. What would we be doing? Silent letters. So, we've learned some time ago that each letter has a sound. And when these letters with their sounds are combined, words are formed. But have you ever noticed that some words, when you pronounce them, you don't hear the sound of all the letters? Have you ever thought of that or have you ever noticed that? Now, let's say the name of this picture that I'm going to show you. Look at this picture and say the name. This is a comb. Now, I'm sure you know to spell the word comb, so let's spell it. C-O-M-B, comb. What letter sound can you hear? You hear k, o, m. So you're hearing the sound of the C, you're hearing the sound of the O, you're hearing the sound of the M. Do you hear the sound of B? And we know that B makes B, B, B. Do you hear that? No, we're not hearing the sound of that last letter in the word comb. And so we say that the B in the word comb is a silent letter. So now, what do you think are silent letters? Yes, letters that you do not hear the sound for them. A silent letter is a letter that in a particular word does not correspond to any sound in the pronunciation of that word. So we now know that some words are made up of letters that are seen but not heard when the word is spoken. These letters are called silent letters. There are words that have silent B, silent D, silent E, silent G, silent H, silent K, silent N, silent P, silent T, silent U, and silent W. So these are all letters that at some time you might see it in a word, but you would not hear the sound it produces. So let's look at the word no. The letter K is seen in the word, but it is not heard. The first sound we hear in the word no is n, which is being pronounced by the N. But, like I said, we do not hear the K. And we see here in this word that N is actually the second letter. So K in this word is the silent letter. Some other words with silent letters are wedge, debate, design, hour, knee, column, Sam, castle, biscuit, wrap. Now, let's look at the word wedge. Is the D indeed silent? Wedge, wedge. Yes, it is. We're not hearing that D. We're not hearing that D in the word wedge. So D there is our silent letter. Now, other than the word wedge, we can also have the word hedge, which would also have the silent D. Now, let's look at the word debate. Debate. If you look carefully, you will see that the word debate ends with an E. But do you hear that sound at the end of the word? What's the last sound you hear in the word debate? T, t. And we know that that sound is produced from the letter T. So we do not hear the sound of E. And so here we know that E is the silent letter in the word debate. Design, 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 design. Do you hear the G sound? Do you hear the G sound? G comes from the letter G, but we're not hearing that. So G in the word design is silent. Hour, hour. If you listen to that, hour, you start to hear the sound made by the letter O. You are not hearing that produced by the letter H, and therefore H is our silent letter in the word hour. Knee, knee. Like the word know we did earlier, we hear the sound of the N, and we do not hear the K sound from the K. And so K is our silent letter in the word knee. Now, do you notice a pattern with the word knee and know? They both start with KN. So we can say where K and N comes together, the K is silent. So those are some of the rules as well that we need to know. Column, column, column. Here we see in the word column, it ends with the letter N. It is seen. But do we hear that sound at the end of column? No. Your lips are tucked in. Column. We have the M sound, which is mm. And so, N is our silent letter in the word column. Just now in knee, we heard the sound of N, but now in column, it's absolutely silent. What about the word Sam? And this word, for many, many years, is quite confusing because it's spelled with a P. P-S-A-L-M. But you never hear that P sound. No, the P in the word Sam's is silent. And like Sam, there are many other words with the P which is silent. Remember, you always challenge yourself to do your own research and homework. So as you look at these words, you listen to them, you know which letters are silent, you know what is the original sound of the letter. You go and you look for other words in which that letter is silent also. Castle. Our next word, castle. Castle. Do you hear the T that is there in the word castle? No. So for castle, the T is silent. Castle. It is silent in the word castle because T makes a sound T. But do you hear that? Castle? Nope. No T sound in the word castle. Then we have biscuit. 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 We hear no sound of the U there. We hear no sound there. Nothing. It's just there. We are seeing it, but we are not hearing it. And then we have the word wrap. 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 It begins with W, but do we hear that ooh sound? Do we hear that ooh sound that is produced by the letter W? No. The first sound we hear is R, and we know that R, it comes from the letter R. So, wrap has the silent W. So, boys and girls, as I said a few seconds ago, you will now look at these words, write them down, and look for other words in which you see the letters highlighted, but you do not hear the sound. Now it's time for you to identify the silent letters in a few words. So I will say the words and you will say them as well and try to identify the letter that is silent in each of these words. Let's go. Remember, you can write the word and just write the letter or circle the letter that is silent in each of the words that we will look at today. Look at the spelling of the word, think about the sound each letter produces, and see which sound you do not hear. Our first word, lamb. Lamb. Two. Two. The next word, psychic. Psychic. Circle the letter for which you do not hear the sound. Match. Match. Guide. 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 Wrong. Wrong. Honest. Honest. Sign. Sign. Age. New. New. Him. Him. Handsome. Handsome. So there you have the words in which you had to circle or write that letter which is silent in each of those words. Let me quickly call the words back so that you could review your answers before we check them. Lamb, two, psychic, match, guide, wrong, honest, sign, age, new, him, handsome. Time for us to check if you could have identified the silent letter. For the word lamb, silent B. The B is silent in lamb. Two, you have W. Psychic, you have P. Match, silent T. Guide. Now for guide, what are you noticing? There are actually two silent letters in guide. Guide. Wrong. The W is silent. Honest, we have the H. Sign, the G is silent. Age, the E is silent. New, again, K is silent. And if you remember what I said to you earlier with the KN, you would have found that pretty easily. Him, him. The N is silent. Handsome, handsome. You hear no sound of the D in the word handsome. So there we have it, boys and girls. I hope that you now understand silent letters. Now let's recap what we learned today. A silent letter is a letter that in a particular word does not correspond to any sound you hear in the word's pronunciation. Some words are made up of letters that are seen but not heard when the word is spoken or pronounced. These letters that you see but you do not hear the sound which they originally produce are called silent letters. There are words that have silent letters such as B, D, E, G, H, K, N, P, T, U, and W. Until the next vocabulary lesson, continue to learn words, practice spelling, pronouncing, and using them correctly. Goodbye, everyone.